Now when they had passed through Ephialus and Apollonia, they came to Thessalia, where was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul in his customs was went unto them, and for 3 Sabbath day reasoned with them from the Scriptures, opening and alleging that it behooved Christ to suffer and to rise again from the dead, and that this Jesus whom said he, I proclaim unto you is Christ. And some of them were persuaded and consorted with Paul and Silas, and of devout Greeks, a great multitude, and of a chief woman not a few. But the Jews, being moved with jealousy, took unto them certain vile fellows of the rabbi, and gathering a crowd, set the city on an uproar. And exalting the house of Jason, they sought to bring them forth to the people. And when they found them not, they dragged Jason, a certain brethren, before the ruler of the city, crying, These that have turned the world upside down are come hither also, whom Jason has received, and these all act contrary to the decrees of Caesarea, saying that there is another king, one Jesus. And they troubled the multitudes and the rulers of the city when they heard these things. And when they had taken security from Jason and the rest, they let them go. And the brethren immediately set away Paul and Silas by night and unto Berea, where when they were come thither, went into the synagogue of the Jews. Now these were more noble than those of Thessalia, in that they received the word with all readiness of the mind, examining the Scripture daily, whether these things were so. Many of them therefore believed, also the Greek woman, an honorable estate, and of men, not a few. But when the Jews of Thessalonica had knowledge that the word of God was proclaimed of Paul at Berea, also there came thither likewise, stirring up and troubling the multitudes. And then immediately the brethren set forth Paul to go as far as to the sea, and Silas and Timothy abode there still. But they that conducted Paul brought him as far as Athens, and receiving a commandment unto Silas, come to him with all speed. They departed. Now while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was provoked with him as he beheld the city full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and in the marketplace every day with them that met him. And certain also Epicurean and Stoic philosopher encouraged him, and some said, What would his babbler say? Others, he seemed to be settled forth of strange gods, because he preached Jesus the resurrection. And they took hold of him and brought him unto the apparatus, saying, May we know what this news teaching is, which is spoken by thee. For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean. Now the Athenians and the strangers sojourning there spent their time in nothing else, but either to tell or to hear some new things. And Paul stood in the midst of Ephesus and said, Ye men of Athens, in all things I perceive that you are very religious. For as I passed along and observed the objects of your worship, I found also an altar with this inscription, to an unknown God. What there ye for worship in ignorance, this I set forth unto you. The God that made the world, all these things therein, being Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in the temples made with hands, neither is he served by men's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing himself given to all life and breath, and to all things. And he made of one every nation of men to dwell on all the face of the earth, having determined their appointed season and the bonds of their habitation, that they should seek God, if happily they might feel after him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. For in him we live and move and have our beings, as certain as even our own poets have said. For we are also his offspring. Being then offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone graven by art and devices of man. The time of ignorance, therefore, God overlooked. But now he commanded men that they should all everywhere repent, insomuch as he appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness by the man whom he has ordained, whereof he has given assurance unto all men, in that he has raised him from the dead. Now when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked, but others said, we will hear thee concerning this yet again. Thus Paul went out from among them, but certain men clave unto him and believed, among who was also Darnus and Agagite, and a woman named Damaris, and others with them. This was the book of Acts, chapter 17.